All right, welcome everybody. We're here doing our 2023 rookie boards for Superflex 1 through 12. I'm here with Austin, the Dynasty fantasy football guru,
With all the hot
and
takes.
and I guess just before we get started, I'll just explain like when we're doing this, we're not taking into account 108 might need a quarterback bad, so he's gonna go quarterback, or 109. It's just going to be what we believe is the best player available at that time, and then of course weighing in like quarterbacks are valuable, running backs if they're really good are valuable, and so on. And maybe since this isn't a special premium tight end league, they're not as valuable. Just one.
Yep.
Because we're gonna do we're saying Superflex 12 team PPR, no tight end premium.
Yep.
And I'll get things started here. My 101 to no surprise. Let me pull it up. Bijan Robinson. I think he's the best running back. Going to get a lot of play time, obviously.
Yep.
Plays in a dome now. Don't think it's too debatable. Was great in college. Drafted 8th overall. We know he's going to be good. I have him number 2 overall in Dynasty for all running backs, and I'm still there. And I don't think I need to explain that one too much. Who do you have at 101?
For sure. So at 101, I also do have Bijan Robinson. Like you said, as of right now, he's the best running back prospect coming up as far as the rookies go. With the Falcons being in desperate need for weapons and not having a quarterback, running back as a premium, he should get a bunch of snaps. The only thing that I would say might be a problem with a bunch of those snaps, he's probably more prone for that injury, especially with the ACL if you're getting all those reps in. But you can't be too hurt with having a rookie running back at your disposal, especially with how much of a shakeup we've had with running backs so far this year already with free agency. Bijan Robinson, number 1.
Yep. Even though I do wait, the landing spot could have been better.
Yeah.
But it also could have been worse.
Yep.
I don't think for like taking snaps, Cordero Patterson is too scary, or that Tyler Algier that was I guess pretty good at the end of last year. I mean, they believed in them. I don't think they go running back.
No, for sure.
So, anyways, 102. I got Bryce Young. First quarterback taken. Of the 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round, I think he had the best landing spot. Even if he doesn't play right away, he's got a head coach that was a quarterback in the league. He's actually got receivers compared to the other 2. Still not going to be perfect. Looking at him, he looks like a little bit less explosive Kyler Murray, so that's kind of his upside to me, which is still real good. I'll save my talk for the other quarterbacks once we get there.
For sure. My 102 is actually Bryce Young as well. He's 101 for a reason. He's got the power behind him. He's got the legs. The only downside with him going into the draft was he's a little smaller than the other quarterbacks and probably a little undersized than what you would mainly want. But with the Panthers, they're actually building a pretty decent team around him. They did grab Adam Thielen off of waivers or off of free agency. So he's got a pretty good foundation, I guess I could say, around him. And with this being a dynasty, you're looking for the future. So you can't really go too wrong with grabbing a rookie quarterback very early.
Yeah, because, again, they are valuable. All right, 103. I got,
Oh, boy.
out of Ohio State, C.J. Stroud. So upside with him is like a Herbert, like a Justin Herbert, big arm. In college, didn't throw a lot of interceptions. Um,
Yep.
Now, I guess what you can knock on him is in college, you could argue he had better receivers than what he has now in the professionals.
Mhm.
As you can see, Garrett Wilson is real good. Chris Olave, real good with the Saints.
Yep.
And, just the number one wide receiver he had was JSN, who went 20th in the first round. And then he also had Marvin Harrison Jr., who people are already talking about for next year. So you can say he played with a lot of talent. But again, I like his size. I like his arm. It's obviously it's going to be a rough year in Houston, but if he's behind by a whole lot, that means he'll just throw.
Yep.
So yeah, I see a lot of quarterback. Who do you got at 103?
My 103 is actually Anthony Richardson, who a lot of people thought going into the draft was actually going to be could be the second overall pick, or even potentially the first overall pick through all the rumors and stuff. He went to the Colts, who had, to me personally, I think they had a fantastic draft. Being one of the worst teams, the worst team basically in the league last year. They just couldn't throw the game in the last week of the season last year. So they have a really good foundation going into it. Now, he is a little bit older than some of these other rookie quarterbacks, but he also does have the best arm and the longest for the deep ball with all these quarterbacks as well, too. So you have a bigger upside and going into it, I feel like, with Anthony Richardson than even with Bryce Young. But with Bryce Young, you get the age and the better foundation, I believe. So Anthony Richardson, 103, definitely.
All right, 104. I got Jahmyr Gibbs. Again, Detroit, now that they got rid of Swift and Jamal Williams, I'm happy with this landing spot. Catches the ball out of the backfield a lot. Again, this is PPR league. That's what you want your running backs to do. Still behind still got him behind Bijan Robinson because of he does have David Montgomery there, and the Lions. We'll see. Still should be a lot of rushing touchdowns. Still a strong pick.
Definitely. My 104 is also Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. The Lions are building up just a powerhouse of a team. I was really surprised when they got rid of Jamal Williams to the Saints. He kind of came out of nowhere. He had a pretty strong season. He looked like he was basically one of the biggest leaders on the team. So they definitely had to replace him. And I feel like the Lions should be contenders with what they had shown at the later half of the season last year. They have lots of weapons, but when you dive a little bit too deep with an older Jared Goff, you're going to have to run the ball. And I feel like you take a running back in the first round, you're definitely planning on running that ball. So, and I mean, like you said too, he can catch in the backfield. So everything that you could want out of running back, just maybe not as good as Bijan, but definitely solid.
All right, and then at 105, I have
Yep.
my man, my opinion. Even before the Vikings took him, Jordan Addison as my number one wide receiver. Watched him; he looked explosive, like the hands, and then obviously the landing spot here in Minnesota. Gotta like that, playing in the dome. Quarterback that can sling it. And yeah, you hear a lot of good things already at OTAs.
Yep.
That's mainly. I think the top three wide receivers are all pretty close. It kind of comes down to landing spot for me.
For sure.
What about you at 105?
My 105 is actually CJ Stroud. Now he's a little bit lower for me than for you, mainly because he's with the Texans. Uh, they are in shambles. I don't think they had that great of a draft. Personally, I was looking at the rookies even that were drafted. I went all the way up to 15. I don't have another Texan on my list. That's pretty scary. He has almost zero weapons. But this is more of a long run play for me personally. I feel like he could have really good upside. The problem is, I feel like his team at Ohio State made him into who he was as far as a first rounder and a very high first rounder. But he could have a lot of upside. It's just we need to know what he can do without the weapons he was given at Ohio State. So it's a very big prove it to me type of pick. But to get a quarterback with preferably, hopefully, really high upside and hopefully not a bust for fifth overall is not too bad. So you're not betting too much.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with that. It's all about, what do you think of the other guys in front of him? All right, my 106, kind of controversial. Quentin Johnston. The knock on him, I guess people had, he looked kind of raw. But now landing in San Diego, I think, one day you look at him and he's just the next Big Mike, Keenan Allen, young quarterback there. I did see him looking good, making some one-handed grabs.
Yep.
He's just the second wide receiver to me that really excites me out of this class, and I just see doing really well. Can't tough to put anyone else in front of him for me.
For sure.
So yeah, what about you at 106?
My 106 is Jordan Addison. To me, best wide receiver out of the draft. But the problem that we might run into with him is there's a lot of weapons with Minnesota. You got Hawk, you got JJ. As of right now, you still have Dalvin Cook. So, it's going to be one of those things where how much production is he going to get right off the bat? And is he worth the high round pick? I believe so, but we'll see. We'll see what's to come. As of right now, he's probably the third or fourth option as far as Kirk is concerned, and also what happens next year as far as Kirk. Does Kirk stay or not? That's really going to affect his production in the future. But he's still the best wide receiver in the draft, so we'll see. It's kind of my warning of caution with Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I know that. I think you make a fair point there. Hopefully, everyone watching right now is definitely thinking Minnesota bias, but
right.
No, you can. There are fans of other teams. I told when I started looking at these receivers back in January, I was all about Jordan Addison, and then somehow, some way, at 23 we took him. But anyways, at 107, I have JSN, which seems to be everyone else's number one wide receiver in this class. Little bit of pause, when I think about the Seattle landing spot. Even if Geno has a good year this year, how many good years does he have left? Or is there a young quarterback on the horizon?
Sure.
It's that, and there are still two good wide receivers there, like San Diego. But and San Diego got a younger quarterback, and the wide receivers there tend to get hurt a whole lot more than the guys in Seattle, Tyler Lockett and DK. DK is also not too old, 25, so it's not like he's going to be done anytime soon. Lockett is 30, so his clock's ticking.
For sure.
But yeah, for me, these first 7 picks, all real solid. You want picks in the top 7 for sure, and then we'll talk about after that for me. So yeah, what about you at 107?
No, for sure, and I don't hate the pick. Sadly, he is not my 107 though. I do have Zay Flowers, for a couple of reasons. I feel like he has a better foundation than JSN, and maybe even Quentin Johnson a little bit around him. I know we know that Lamar's going to be with the Ravens for a long time now after signing his major deal. This year, he has a little bit of help going into it with Odell and whatnot. So, there's a lot more room for upside, especially because everything's not going to have to be all on him. Because the thing with Lamar is he's probably going to run half the time. So, while the defense is waiting for him to run, it gives Zay a chance to kind of show what he can do as a rookie as far as getting the numbers, getting the catches, hopefully the touchdowns. So I feel like there can be a really good upside even if he is more on the mediocre side as far as points because Lamar is going to run. So as far as rookie goes, it's probably not a bad problem to have, even if he can't have the major upside that we think Jordan Addison will have. So, yeah.
All right, and then at 108, I finally have Anthony Richardson. So, as we talked last week, I'm not the biggest fan of Jalen Hurts. I need to see more. And I think Anthony Richardson is basically who they're trying to make the next Jalen Hurts and who everyone's so excited for. Philadelphia, that offense coordinator there was just hired as the Indianapolis head coach. So, new head coach. Outside of Jonathan Taylor, don't love the people around him. But for me, some people got hyped up about things they shouldn't have been hyped up about, like on his pro day when he threw the ball and hit the ceiling. Like, so what? Would have in college liked to seen more touchdowns. Like this last year, beginning of the year, he went a few weeks before he even got one, I believe. So that's me. I mean, I see everyone on this app saying, or on TikTok saying, take him 101, and I'm like, dude, why? That's just like, do you want to be first next year? Oh. So, if in a few years he's Jalen Hurts, I'll admit I'm wrong, but right now I'm not. He's not on my. I ain't picking him, but I think he's still a higher value than other people after him. So yeah, you're 108.
Yeah, for sure. And even on that too, if Anthony Richardson is there at 8, and you don't necessarily need a dynasty quarterback of the future or anything like that, like you have somebody really young that you like Jalen Hurts or something like that, you just got unlucky with injuries or what have you. It's kind of the perfect spot where you can kind of trade out of that to help somebody who does need a quarterback or even just needs to take a flyer on a quarterback in like your taxi squad or something like that too. Because especially with how, as far as quarterbacks in a Superflex, they're really valuable. So it does not hurt to have many as many quarterbacks as you can at your disposal, especially if there's no limit. So, but my 108 is actually JSN with Seattle. The main reason I have him at 8 is for kind of the reason that you said, right? I feel like he can be really good and real powerful, but the problem is Geno. How much longer is he going to play? Can he still play at a high level? Because there is a reason he was never a starter, right? So will the Geno curse come back? We'll see. What is Seattle's plan for the future? Are they going to tank for the first overall for next year? I don't know. So there's a lot that we need to kind of play at and see. Having DK there is going to take a lot of touches away from him for sure. So he'll definitely be the second or third option going into this next year. But so is Jordan Addison, and I have him pretty high. So, but But it's all about we'll see, right? We don't know what we're really going to see with these rookies just yet, but I think he should have a pretty good upside.
Yeah, and that just reminded me too. The one good thing I can say about Anthony Richardson is the upside, the ceiling. You know, if you're taking him at that 101, you're betting on he's going to be Jalen Hurts was this last year, and you're going to get years and years of that, and not a whole lot of injuries. So that's the one thing I will agree on, and we'll talk about it more in other videos, I'm sure. All right, my 109, Zay Flowers. So again, I like the talent, and I remember when Sleeper first started putting out rankings, and they had him like projected end of the second round, and right, you watch him, you can see the talent, you can see the explosiveness, he can play. But now the Baltimore landing spot, that's where it's a little. That's why I kind of got him lower, because they do have they just got Odell, who's old, but still got him, Mark Andrews. There's this guy out of Minnesota, the college called Rashad Bateman. hopefully he turns things around. He was once upon a time a first round wide receiver like Zay. And again, a quarterback that does run. All the reports, Lamar's not going to run as much, but
he will.
This time of year, I don't know. You hear every quarterback say that, to the media.
Right.
So yeah, I got him at 109. Still not the worst.
No, for sure. Yeah. And then my 109, basically we kind of just interchange parts. My 109 is Quentin Johnson. There's plenty of good upside. I feel like he'll be really good. I'm not completely sold with Chargers quarterback. Personally, I haven't seen too much yet just because I don't watch too many Chargers games. But he should have really good upside, I feel, and whatnot. But I think all of these wide receivers will have real good upside to them. It's just a matter of when and how much, which is probably why we have 4 of them going right away in the top 10. So, which is really good. So, there's not too many years that we have that. So.
All right. And at 110, I have Will Levis. A lot of this has to do with quarterbacks are valuable. Oh boy.
Right.
He's definitely going to be able to start in Tennessee at some point. I also think at this point it gets kind of dicey. You don't know if people are starting. If they are starting, how much are they going to beat out the veterans? I don't know. We'll see. A lot of people use the excuse too that he had some kind of injury in college this last year. I don't know. Maybe he did, but regardless, doesn't look the most mobile to me. So you're not going to pick up points that way. If Tennessee's bad, like top 2 pick bad, he's gone because they're going to take Caleb or Drake May. But it's really a QB value thing because after that it's Hendon Hooker, and I don't think he's going to start over Goff. So, yeah, that's who I got at 110.
Okay. Look, you can clip this all you want. Will Levis is going to be a bust. 100,000%. Look, we just talked about it, right? With quarterbacks, they're very, very valuable. So, hey, if somebody really wants Will Levis, give it to them, right? Just take their first rounder, 100%. Out of 10 times do it, because Will Levis is not. He's not going to be the answer. He has all that fucking attitude to him. I should be the first overall or nothing type of thing. And sometimes that plays off, right? Aaron Rodgers was the same way, but he had the talent to back him up. I saw almost none of that talent out of Will Levis. I don't think he's anything special, which is why he didn't go for fucking forever. And he just sat in that booth doing absolutely nothing. But I really I wouldn't waste the pick on him personally, but for me, for my 110, I have Dalton Kincaid for a couple of reasons. For one, he went to the Bills. Overall, a super solid team, right? You got Diggs, you got Josh Allen, and whatnot. So they have plenty of weapons there. The thing though is with tight ends is you never know exactly what you're gonna get, right? You're either gonna get somebody like Travis Kelce, who is a 20-plus pointer, or you're gonna have a mediocre one where you get 4 to 8, maybe 10 points on a week. With the Bills landing spot, I think you're more gonna get like that 10 to 15, and hopefully more range. It's when you can find and really get a really good tight end, it's worth picking up decently early, even if he has to sit on your taxi squad for a year or so. That way he can develop. If you can get a really good tight end early, it's worth the pick up, especially with the team the Bills are building around them. So, but yeah, no, that's my pick there.
I'll eventually get to Kincaid here, but yeah, he's my top overall tight end. I will say too, in my opinion, if I was in a 12-man league, 12-man Superflex, 108 and on, if I can just trade that pick for 2024 next year from someone, I'd take that in a heartbeat. Because after that point, in my opinion, it's just so risky, and who knows really how high the ceiling is for Will Levis, like you said. But my next pick here, Jalen Hyatt.
Okay.
I mean, because Sleeper's got him ranked really really low. I'm surprised that didn't. You must actually kind of like him. Like, so here's the deal. Like, he was like a late first, early second on a lot of boards before the draft, and he went in the third round instead of the second. So everyone was kind of like, eh. I look at him and he looks like very similar to the wide receiver the Packers took last year, Christian Watson. He's got that track background. And at Tennessee, he looked great. A lot of wide open catches, which can also be a knock because you're not going to get to be that wide open that often in the NFL. You're going to have to make some contested catches. But yeah, he's just a guy I see playing right away. And then the Giants, regardless how you feel about Daniel Jones and the coach there that everyone seems to like, Dayball, he's going to get a chance to play. Because the wide receivers in New York, for the Giants, they aren't that special. Like, I like Darren Waller, but again, that's a tight end. Talking receivers, can't really name them because some of the big names have left for Kansas City, like that Tony. And yeah, I mean, so many got hurt last year. You had that Isaiah Hodges, who was on the Bills practice squad, showing up. Basically their best receiver last year. So I like Hyatt. He's going to get a good chance here. He's projected more second round, but I'll take him all day in the second round in rookie draft.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So my 111 is actually kind of controversial because he is actually picked up quite a bit later. I think almost even late second rounder in most mocks that I saw. But I actually have Michael Mayer, tight end for the Raiders. They just got rid of Darren Waller, kind of as we were just talking about there. So they definitely need a tight end. The main issue that I have with this pick, though, I will say though, is the Raiders team in general is in just absolute shambles. You got Devontae Adams, and that's kind of where you stop on the talent. But on the plus side, though, that leaves plenty of opportunity for Meyer to shine, and hopefully he does so. For me, it really does not hurt to take a tight end when you can, because you might hit gold. And for a tight end, if you hit gold, I mean, that's just money. So definitely keep an eye on him, see where he falls in your draft for sure. I really do like him. So Dalton Kincaid's going to get all the eyes, but if you can sneak a Michael Mayer, I definitely would.
And yeah, that one to me is a little shocking. Because like he's got like that top 10 talent. Yeah, it's just a landing spot.
Yep.
I think you warned me of this pick before we were.
Oh, I did.
Before we were setting up. Yeah, it's just the landing spot for me because I think the Raiders suck. Jimmy G,
awful.
his health, who knows? So yeah, we'll see. And then my 112. Now I finally have Dalton Kincaid. For me, I really don't love taking a tight end in the first round just because they're not as valuable.
For sure.
You're betting on him being a top at least 12 tight end if you're in a 12-man league and only one tight end starts. But here's a good thing. Obviously, in Buffalo, in college, he played some slot wide receiver, so he'll be on the field a lot. They got Diggs. I'm not crazy about that Gabe Davis. After the playoff game against Kansas City, I thought he was ready to light the league on fire, but he didn't this last year. So yeah, he's definitely gonna get a lot of balls, even if Diggs. If Diggs leaves, he'll get more. Yeah, he just because of the landing spot. Yeah, I got good Kincaid, and yeah, Michael Meyer. He'd be kind of close too, early second for me. But
yeah, for sure.
Who do you got to end your first round?
Yeah, my 112. A little bit out of left field here. I actually do have another running back, Zach Charbonnet. Seattle. Look, at the end of the day with Seattle, Rashad Penny is always hurt. He gets hurt every single year, and usually it's only a couple games in. So they are gonna need a rookie to step up, and I think he actually has a lot of upside. As much as you hate the pick, it's always good to have an extra backup for a running back, and to keep an eye on him, because if Rashad Penny goes down and he explodes, see ya, Penny. I think he will be probably better in the long run than somebody like Travis Etienne. As far as like talent goes, especially. So I see a lot of Dalvin Cookness in him. So let's go.
Yeah, I'll say with Charbonnet, I like the talent. It's just a landing spot. Again, because he's going to be behind the guys there. And like last year they took that Ken Walker.
Wasn't really shined or anything like that.
Yeah, he's gonna have to beat him out, and I don't know. There's other running backs I think, or at least one other running back I like more than him. But that'll be for the 1 QB video, because obviously we won't have QBs on the 1 QB board, or as many and as early, because they're not as valuable. But yeah, otherwise you didn't really have you were like warning me about the Michael Meyer pick, but I think if you compare it to Sleeper, I think I had the craziest pick at 111 with Jalen Hyatt. But
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that pick at all, to be honest. I don't even have him in my top 15, honestly.
he's.
So
But again, sleeper. Hey, no, if I get him in the third round, I'll happily take him. I will say too with rookie drafts, the one guy who just I guess there's some good reports about that Rashid Rice with
oh
wide
yeah, I
receiver
saw.
Kansas City. Supposedly he's having some really good OTAs or looking good in OTAs. I got my eyes on him.
For sure.
Um, I don't really want to get burned with another Kansas City wide receiver.
Yeah.
Kind of one of those things. But yeah, otherwise, you got any final
No,
thoughts on the Superflex board?
I was a little surprised where you had Anthony Richardson. I expected him to just be a little higher, but what you had him at 7, I believe, if I remember 8, which not the end of the world. A lot of people are kind of both either you're on one side of the spectrum or the other, right? You either love him or hate him. Personally, I think he has a really really good upside to him. The Colts spot, is kind of type of thing because he doesn't have too many weapons behind him. But just that upside alone is just crazy. Again, I'm not too crazy on CJ Stroud or anything. I need to see it to believe it. But my last final thought on this in general is just don't take Will Levis. If you can listen to me about one thing, is he will be a bust. He just does not have the talent to be anything other than a glorified backup. So yeah.
So it'll be a dirty bet according to you.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, I guess only other final thought. I'm sure we'll have another video like this in August. Once
Yep.
we see some preseason games, camp, we'll know injuries. Yeah, and then for the people that are like us and waiting until August to do their rookie drafts, they'll be able to get an updated board at that time.
Absolutely.
But yeah, otherwise, look out for a video now on our 1QB rookie board. See ya.
Hell yeah.